and we did have a document on researching potential partners and organizations. Let's see. Then there's like list of topics we want to make videos on, which we did have the profiles, Lane's video, logo. So we were pretty much on schedule. Then June, the top of it is MVP complete, which I don't know, that's a vague term. I think we had a lot of potential things and some rough drafts, but you know, that could be, everyone can have a different view on how, what it looked like. So I guess going into this year, a lot of the to-dos are just with partnerships and PR. Like we don't really have for the experiential and curriculum just because I don't think we knew where we would be at this point. As for partnerships, I think that committee has done as much as they could for what we have of the project so far. And PR has done the logo. We have talked about the name, our mission statement established. So I think like that is on track. I think we can all agree that like a lot of the emphasis, and maybe it needs to be like all hands on deck for the beginning of the year, is working on curriculum and experiential, which, you know, might have to be altered just because, you know, this year is going to be different than what we planned it to be, and we're doing things virtually. But I think that's something that we can dive into when we do have our first meeting. So I will stop screen share.
Sure, yeah. Thanks, Edie, for reviewing the timeline with everybody. So,
can I ask some questions to the group?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just wondering if a couple of other people might share, as you're thinking while Edie's talking, if a couple other people might just share their thoughts about what you remember about how we left off. What do you remember your experience being about how we left off? Whether it was where your committee was, or how the culture of the cohort felt, or how you were doing with like your connection to the project, that kind of thing. So I'm vamping a little bit to give a couple people time to think, but I'd like to hear, I don't know, just from 2 or 3 of you, what do you remember about how we left off?
Yeah, go ahead, Daisy. And then Julian.
I was in partnerships with Edie, and we were feeling really good. I feel like the cohort as a whole, like at least my committee, was like feeling like energized and like ready to like keep pushing forward. And obviously that like died down over the summer just because we're like not really in YPI. Like we're in it, but you know what I mean. So like I feel like we just need to get back that like motivation that we had, and like try to get back to that point where we were, and just like refresh ourselves and like push forward like really hard, because we need to if we want to make progress.
Cool. Thanks, Daisy. Somebody else? Julian, were you gonna go next?
Yeah.
I was basically just gonna say what Daisy was saying, that like I felt like a lot of the committees were making really good progress and had some big decisions like made, like the logo and the name and things like that. And we had a lot of motivation and just a lot of like power keeping us going, and I would really like that to continue. I think the culture was really good at the end of the year.
Awesome. I love all these responses. Maya did raise her hand, but there she is.
I was just gonna kind of go off of what Daisy was saying. I was in that partnerships committee with her, and I feel like towards the end, I know we were starting to work on like a base email to send out to potential partners, but we kind of felt like we were struggling a little bit with that because we weren't sure exactly what to tell them about the project. But we were like ready to start reaching out and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
Cool.
Thanks.
What about anybody that was in the other two groups, the groups that were kind of working on the first sort of video script, the experiential and curriculum groups? Yeah, Victor?
I remember that we were getting ready to start like assigning roles and like start writing out maybe like, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like scripts for our videos. I feel like we really had like a lot of potential that we were about to go into, but obviously that got like kind of stopped. But I think hopefully we can just like pick back up. And I know we have some document somewhere where we're gonna like plan out the videos, have people sign up. So I think we should get going with that soon, maybe.
Awesome.
Yeah, just me and Parrish are in the curriculum group, and we just went through the base camp again. And there's Google Docs for each partner or each group of people who were assigned a certain role or a certain political issue.
We felt pretty good because in like the very last stretch before we went for like break for the summer, we got a lot of stuff done very quickly. We had like several meetings in a very short period of time, and we had a lot of things like building up very fast. So we had a lot of traction as a group, and we were pretty energized because we had a lot of work being done, and we saw some real progress being made. So we ended off on a very good note, and I think we can definitely pick back up. But one of the things that was most bothering over the summer, I think, was the article that Daisy shared about the Chris Evans project that was like making videos to educate on the political process to make Americans more involved in the whole like scene. It was a little demoralizing to read it, to be honest, but I think we're gonna have to recognize that it's there and then find some way to navigate and have added value. But I think that's something that needs to be addressed somewhat soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what Parrish is talking about, it's Daisy posted a link to it in the campfire of our cohort base camp. So you can go back.
You know, if Chris Evans is going to do a philanthropy project, the obvious name is called America's Ask. Right? Right? I mean, is that not obvious? Anyway, why has it upset? How about other people? Did other people feel the similar reaction to Parrish?
Yeah, it was cool to see that like someone did something in the area that we're focusing on, but it was also like, whoa, it's really similar to what we're working on. And it's hard because like he's someone that the world knows, so that's already going to get a lot of attention. And like we're just teenagers in Tulsa trying to make a difference.
This is important. This is a really important moment. I totally get the reaction. I feel it often, you know, because you know, I'm an ideas person, and then when other people came with the idea, it's like, what a drag, you know. But I want to challenge the reaction. I'm not criticizing the reaction because I understand it. It's the natural reaction. But I want to challenge it and see what would be other viable reactions and maybe even upgrade reactions. If you know, just brainstorm for a second to realizing that somebody else has kind of done what you want to do.
I think the other side of the reaction would be like recognizing that we're almost being led to a better skinny branch, because I think there's going to be some kind of hole in this, that there's like maybe some niche that's not being recognized, that our project was way too general, which I think it probably still was. We probably don't have the means to do everything that our original huge goal was, that we need to find our branch that really we can actually work on. So we could recognize this and figure out what the actual hole is now, and then redirect towards that.
Yeah. And speaking of skinny branch, I think we could also make any slight shifts if we want to, like maybe more focus on local elections. Like we have the upcoming election for mayor. And also we could talk more about specific one-on-one debates and debate skills or research skills on certain points are great sources that you can get information statistics.
Awesome.
Daisy, I think you had your hand raised. Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say I sent it because I like saw it on a show and I thought that it was just like it was like really similar, so I just looked at it and I thought it was interesting and that we could look at it. And it like kind of made me feel like the first reaction, like how like it was like already been done. But I think that we can look at it and build off of it and make ours better, number one. Like but number two, ours is focused on teens. So I think definitely focusing more on like how we can like cater more to like the teen audience, because his is not really catered to the teen audience. And then the other thing would be like we always, I don't know how like much we're still talking about this, but like my favorite part of like the aspects of the project has always been like the after part, like ways that like teens can like get involved like once they are like knowing their opinions and stuff like that. So like focusing a lot on like once they like see the videos and once they have their opinions and like know what they want to like how they want to impact it, like show them the ways to impact it, because his doesn't do that. If that makes sense. I don't know, but
yeah.
yeah.
You know, I totally understand like why some people would be a little demoralized, but I think it's like more like a positive thing. Like, oh wow, someone famous is also like talking about this. Like, so we're on the right track. Like, this is a big issue that, and it's not like just because he talked about it that like everyone else that talks about it is a bandwagon and shouldn't do it. Like, no, I think even if we're saying similar things, like having more voices still adds value to the project. So yeah, I don't think we should be demoralized. We should be like, yeah, you know.
You should be thanking him. You should be saying, wow, this guy validated our work. And we can show him a thing or two. We now know we have somebody who's interested in what we're doing. And if we can show him something of value, you know, if he wants his project to succeed, does he not? What does he want? What is the universal outcome that I talk about? I call it the universal outcome. I've done it with you guys. You know it.
Is it progress? Thriving?
There you go. Everybody wants thriving. Look around. Every single one of you want thriving. It just depends on what we're talking about and how to define it. Chris Evans wants his program to do what? To thrive. He wants it to grow, succeed. Everybody wants it. You just need to find out what it is and how to get it. And is there a way that his thriving aligns with your thriving, that you could do exactly what you guys were talking about? Find a way to specialize, observe what he's doing, and let him do the kind of break. I was gonna say be the windbreaker. I don't know how to say it. And then you know, you're what's it called? Drafting off the person in front of you. Let them experience the resistance of going forward, of trying to get this idea out onto the world stage. Let him do that. Your job now doesn't have to worry about the missionary work, the advocacy work, right? Because he's doing it now. Oh yeah, we're doing, you know what, you heard of Chris Evans? Yeah, this is his main project. Well, we also are doing something. Ours is just better. You know, we're going to show him how it works or whatever. But now you have your lead in that validates you. And anyway, you have a potential champion that you could ally with. Just a thought. I'll stop being so positive.
But yeah, on that note, before we move on to the next thing on our agenda, partnerships committee, get on it. Contact Chris Evans after we've got something. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Okay, so now we're moving on to our POM. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So the cool thing about Miro is that we can have everything all in one place, and it would be super easy to navigate to. Screen sharing. How do I move? Okay, it'll be super easy to navigate to. And just like by clicking on these frames, you could have everything. And E did a really nice job of basically condensing all this information, which was like scattered throughout Basecamp, onto a nice thing. So like we've got our to-do list essentially. We've got some ideas for that as well, just to spice it up. And yeah, so we've got some new things that Adam has taught us about, purpose, outcomes, and methods. So first, we should examine our purpose, but before we get into like, rereading this or whatever, like we kind of already know what this says. I don't think I need to reread it to you. but just to like talk about this is the important part. What is our focus and why does it matter? So basically what we want to focus on, and Adam, feel free to chime in if I like botch something, but it's like, it's new words to help us like actually zone in on what we want to know. Because like when you say purpose, it's like, yeah, or at least for me, whenever we did like POMs, like the purpose and outcomes were like always like super similar, and it was just like, why did we even do this? And so like I think this really helps. What is our focus and why does it matter? Helps us like zone in on exactly what we want. So let's just use this meeting for example. So the focus of this meeting is engaging everybody and like getting everyone to, you know, re-engage into YPI and like get familiar with Basecamp and have them introduced to Miro and get you guys hyped about it. And why is that important? So this is the why. This is like, why are you even doing this? Why do we even have this kickoff? It's so that we can get off to a good start and not flop this year. And you know, this is our final year, and a lot of you might be feeling the anxiety of like, oh, are we even gonna like finish this? And so like that's why that's the why does it matter? Like this is so important to like, this meeting is so important and of like getting us all started. And so wait, Edie, do you want to share this? Because I've got notes pulled up on the side, but if I switch screens, everyone will see it.
Oh, yeah, you want me to screen share?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, yes. So that's the purpose. Now we need to talk about what outcome is. So essentially, the questions for that one, so we didn't write it on because outcome is kind of full right now, but whenever we get the chance, we'll like add that, what I'm talking about, onto there. So focus is why does it matter, but outcome is what does success look like? And so it's like, you know, if you think about it, it's still kind of the same question, but I feel like the extra words, you know, just help you like draw your mind into exactly what you want. So if you look at the agenda for today, we did write this out, but so it's like, what does success look like? What do we want from today's kickoff meeting? So we just want you guys to be comfortable working together because you haven't seen each other in like a long time. And we want you guys to be on the same page. So like, this is what the review is for, so you guys know where we're at. And then we also wanted to introduce you guys to Miro and reintroduce you guys to Basecamp, just so you guys can be familiar, especially because it's all online. So we're pretty much going to be relying on Miro and Basecamp. And another thing that you want to examine for the it's still the same structure, like it's still POM, but now it's like a different way to analyze it. So like, what is thriving, growth, and success? Those are just like ways to help you zone in on exactly what you want. And for methods, it's like, now you got to think of like, okay, so let's just say thrive. Let's just use today's agenda for example. So it would be like, or what does success look like? So our success would be, once again, comfortable working together, and then like introducing to Basecamp. And another outcome that we wanted was like for you guys all to not be bored, like at least to feel like coming to this meeting was worth your time. And so now moving on to methods, what factors would be necessary for that? So like, what factors would be necessary for that success? So we've got, you know, we tried to spice it up with like some activities that we thought were cool and that integrated Miro into them. We also scheduled a lot of breaks, and we're ahead of schedule too. So you guys will probably get out early, which is like good for you guys too, because we want to be conscious of your time as well. And so we wanted to make sure you guys were engaged, and obviously, you know, staying in a Zoom call for like 3 hours straight, it's not going to end up being 3 hours. So I hope I'm not spooking you with that. But like, staying on a long Zoom call is like really tiring. And I know like my school's already started, and some of your schools have already started too. It's just like, online, it's so easy, just like, you know, close your eyes, turn off your video, or like look at your phone and like hide it underneath your camera so that they can't tell that you're not looking. And so we decided to put in lots of breaks to do that. That was one of the factors that we decided, the engagement factor. And we decided to turn that dial up because we really needed you guys to be paying attention to this. And so we like, you know, gave you guys lots of breaks. In return, we asked for your attention. Let's see, another thing. Yes, we wanted you guys to be adept at Miro, so that's why we introduced it to you guys today. That was one of the factors that was one of the factors necessary for us to achieve our success.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is pretty much like a rundown of like the new vocabulary over POM. We're not getting rid of POM. I think this is like an enhancement. This is like a way to channel it better.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead, Edie.
Before like meeting and making an agenda, like POM was like, ugh, okay, like I guess we'll look at that again. Like felt kind of like a burden and annoying. But like when you're making a schedule for like a kickoff meeting, especially in new changes and online, like it just makes a lot more sense. And writing out like, what does it look like for us to succeed, and like what's our focus, what do we do to like make sure that this meeting is successful and that you guys are engaged, and being able to like work that out made it so much easier to create the agenda, because then we checked off all the boxes to make sure that it was going to be a good meeting and that we were going to be successful. So Thank you, Adam.
So the next thing on our agenda is to discuss our next steps. Edie kind of went over this already, but yeah, so from reviewing the timeline, we can see that a lot of the things that are like coming up that we need to do before the other committees can do their work is finishing like our project, right? You know, PR can't really market it until we've got like at least a skeletal structure. And so this is just like my thoughts on this. We'll have a little discussion after this, but my thoughts on this are to focus on experiential and the curriculum and like getting the videos done, or like, you know, if we are going to be tweaking things like Graham said, like that needs to happen ASAP. Like we can't really afford to delay any longer on this. And once that's done, then we can, you know, go back to the committees or like switch everything up. We are, I don't know if I should say this but like we are like trying to think of like new ways to keep guys engaged, especially since online is like kind of distant. You know, you don't feel like the obligation, like whenever you head in every Sunday, you like know, oh, I gotta get that thing done before Sunday. But like, you know, over Zoom or something, you might feel a little more distant. Anyways, we're coming up with things, so be on the lookout for new things that we're implementing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Adam or Emily, is there anything that you're like itching to say or ask? Are you good? Good. Adam, go for it.
I couldn't find my unmute button. Yeah, I think you guys, that was such a great job demonstrating. Let me see, what did you guys think of that feedback about, or what they walked through? Was it helpful, or did anybody have any clarity from doing it, or was it just boring? I don't want to hear if it's boring. I just want to hear if people got good value from it. Because it was taking it to the next level. Good. And what it is I just found a simpler way to ask the same questions, because I know it boggles people. Like purpose, it's an overwhelming word. I know that, but I couldn't think of a better way to say it. And I just one day tried it, and it was like I backed into it on accident. It was just like, well, what's your focus? Oh, it's this. I mean, anybody can answer that at any moment. And then why does it matter? And then you don't need me to repeat all that. Well, I do want to repeat the outcomes one, because for outcomes, the way I found to ask that one, it's not as tidy, but it's the thriving. What does thriving look like? Because thriving is a catchphrase for growth and success. So growth, you could say, at any point, you could always say, what does growth look like? At any point, you could say, what would it look like to go from here to whatever growth would be to go there? And then success is just milestones that you want to reach. Oh, did we reach the milestone? Okay, then success. Oh, we didn't reach the milestone? Okay, we fell short? Okay, then no. And that's another guide. So that's all thriving is. So what does thriving look like for your focus? And then you heard them, and we won't go to the methods part, but that's where it gets really juicy. But so we will be getting into it at some point.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you for thanking me.
And one of the things Adam said a while ago with the co-facilitators was that like using Miro is going to allow them to do their job as being like the bird's eye view of the project. So we can be on Miro collaborating and have our POM right there. And I think you guys will see that it's all of this is going to intersect to be really useful in making fast progress.
And if I can say one more thing too, what's exciting about this is you don't have to sit back. If you're like, hey, why is everything moving at other people's paces in organizations? Why can't I just go? Well, now in this environment, we could do that. I mean, Miro is the thing that allows people to move faster forward. Teams are using this. And I know I'm a weird person, but I have a track record. I was using Zoom 6 years ago. I'm riding unicycles 2 years ago. Everybody's going to be riding personal electric vehicles. They just are. Watch. It just makes, it doesn't have to be a unicycle. It could be scooters or other things. But that's where the thing is going. And so I'm ahead, even though I look like I'm behind. And this thing, Miro, and this type of work, this is where everybody's going. A lot of people have been doing this already. International teams work this way. They just haven't had tools. Miro's a brand new tool. People don't know about it yet. It hasn't, what's the word when something is about, it hasn't blown up yet. Anyway, but you guys are in on the early level. So, you're welcome. That's what I do for the people that hang with me.
Yeah. And we want you guys to get creative, and there's so many cool templates. And I mean, Adam sent me this YouTube video about like a meeting that they use Miro for, and like the decorations and the way they had it set up was super cool. So like, I know we have some creative people here, so like, feel free to go on Miro and mess around and have fun with it, because it's really awesome. But does anyone have any questions or feedback or anything that they're looking forward to getting started, or announcements, et cetera, et cetera?
Just to spark your thinking. Parrish. Graham. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, Lane mentioned that he had a few scripts done, and if you would like, me and Max now have some experience in screenwriting and basic storyboarding, so we would love to assist with that. Make a minimum viable product video before we invest a lot of money into making these videos in our curriculum.
Yeah, that's awesome. Julian? Okay, I wasn't sure if you raised your hand.
Yeah, that does kind of segue right into the next thing I was going to ask. So now, so I did say like we should focus on experiential and curriculum, but that was just my opinion. So what do you guys think we should do next? Like follow that, or maybe you have another direction that you think we should go? Any thoughts on that? And then if not, we can move on to the next item.
Don't be shy. We want to hear from you guys.
or maybe like, if you agree, at least say like agree or something. I don't know.
Thumbs up. Awesome.
When you said don't be shy, I am not on TikTok, but like I've seen like one TikTok video, and it's like the one where they're like this. That's the only one I've ever seen. So any other TikTok references, I won't get them because I live under a rock.
Oh, that's good, Derek. I legit learned about the Renegade dance like 2 weeks ago.
I don't have TikTok.
It's done, Emily.
I know it's over. I know it's sad. Yeah. I also didn't know who Chris Evans was, just so you know.
I'm telling you, I'm relevant.
He's way more relevant than that.
All right, wait, I wanted to say something to you guys. If you think of ways to inject fun into this group, then we invite that. Because, it's clean and wholesome, right? But fun. And if there's cool little things you want to do, I personally think what we're making right now, this whole thing's been recorded. If you guys were a little bit more lively and engaging and focused and fun, this would make actually an interesting television show, But you guys are like, oh, I'm a victim of being able to lounge in my house and use my own bathroom. It's like, just eat my own food and not have to deal with the dorky kid from that family or whatever. You know what I mean? You don't have to deal. You guys are not victims. There are victims. Don't get me wrong. This thing is not a picnic for people, but you guys you guys got a break. You know what, you guys got an interruption from the feed that's been going into your head, and the feed's been saying, be productive, stand out, be special, or you ain't nothing, you know? And this is an interruption from that. It's a check. It's a reality check to say you aren't here to perform for other people. You're here to experience. And you're here to have a great experience. And you're to have an experience that aligns with who you are. And an experience that allows you to develop into your true potential. Not a messed up version of yourself, you know, a backwards potential, but really your true best self. That's what we're interested in, your best self. That's what we're bugging you about, to be your best self. That's why it's the philanthropy initiative, not the misanthropy initiative. That's what this is about. So you guys are not victims, and create. That's my thing, TLDR.
All right, so I know you guys are doing a really great job of paying attention. I can see all of your faces. Thank you so much. Just want to remind you guys, we are 25 minutes ahead of schedule, so keep on going, guys. We're almost done. I think the next item on the list is Edie's going to talk about.
Do we want to do, like, I don't want to, like, eat people's time. Do we want to do, like, a quick, like, either breakout room for, like, a question, just something to, like, break it up, or do we want to keep trucking? I don't know. Just because what's next is also us talking at you guys.
Well, we have a break before.
Okay.
We just want to go straight to the break. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Let's get some feedback, people.
Yeah, you guys want a break, or can you guys keep going?
Straight through. No break.
I'm good with either.
Okay. Julian says she's good with keep going. Okay, cool.
Let's just go ahead of schedule farther. We had a break that was pretty recent.
Okay.
Sweet.
Sounds good. So the next thing on our agenda is looking ahead again, but like in a less project oriented. Just wanted to address any concerns that you guys might have about this year or the schedule, making calls engaging, you know, stuff like that. So does anyone have any like big concerns that come to mind immediately, or any worries about this year or the schedule?
I was wondering, with our like new meeting schedule, like the 9 to 12 on 1 week, and then in 2 weeks doing the 12 to 3. I was just wondering, are we going to get a like note to principals? That's more like logistical, but I was wondering about that actually.
Yeah, that is actually on the schedule that we wanted to ask you guys about. Do you guys think, you know, I know a lot of us are going virtually. Do you still need a letter to your principal if you're going to be missing class? I mean, I figured
We'll make a letter and send it to you guys. If you need it, use it. Yeah. We'll have that ready soon. Before our first meeting that you guys will have to miss school for, so.
Thank you.
Edie, did you post somewhere the like a picture of the schedule? I know it's on the Miro board. Is it anywhere on Basecamp?
No. Derek, you posted it on Basecamp, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Mm-hmm. It's in the message board.
Yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, take it away.
For like just a second. I just want to, if you care, this is me wanting to be understood. This is a thing that I do, but I just wanted to like explain some of the logic behind why we did it this way. So one is so that we wouldn't have a full day Zoom call, because I don't think anyone wants to do that. The reason for the flip-flop in time is so that, like, for those of you that are either physically in class or maybe have a call every Friday at this time, that you're not always missing the same class. So that's why we flip-flopped it for morning and afternoon. So it might be if you have, if you have chemistry on Friday mornings, you only miss it one time for the whole month. So in essence, it's not any more time away from class than before. It's just broken up into 2 blocks. So anyway, I don't know if that's helpful. Here is, Derek's got this schedule posted right here. It's under the message board on Basecamp. I'll make a letter to principals for people and post it there too. But does anybody have any questions? I mean, I just want to like throw out that like, we know this is different than what you signed up for initially, and we're just having to adjust and do our best. And so just talk to us about conflicts, talk to us about what you need to be able to be successful at YPI and with your school demands, because we just know everybody's is so different right now. So anyway, there's grace. We just want you, let's be talking about it if you have issues.
We want you guys to want to be here. So whatever we can do to make that more fun and exciting. And if you guys have any ideas or things you want to incorporate, like, we want to hear that.
And I hate saying it because it's a downer message, but it's just true, and it should be liberating. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to. And in fact, as a kindness to respect people in the group, it just helps. You can socialize with people in different ways, but like, it's just when people, you just know what happens when you're on a team and somebody doesn't want to be on the team, or you're at a party and someone doesn't want to be, allow people to have a good time at a party. They're just not into it. And even if they aren't actively, messing things up or being a drag, it's just a drag. And that's coming from somebody who himself can be a drag. It's just, your attitude matters. And so I just want to reiterate, you're not a victim. This is a voluntary personal thing, and you don't have to do it. There's no penalty even. There's no penalty if you decide that you don't want to be here. You're not forced to be here. I just want you to know that. So that everybody who is here, fans on 3, excited and ready to contribute and make progress.
For sure. Any feedback?
Ava, I think you have your hand raised. Did you still want to say something?
I did. So I know other people are taking TCC classes. I don't know how many, but like, it's probably going to be like a handful of us. And I don't know about them, but my class is like 8 to 9:20. So like, that's just like a little heads up that like a good handful will probably be a little late to the morning meetings.
Yeah.
I mean, the good thing about that, it would just happen one time a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Also, reminder for those of you that don't, just make sure you have your notifications turned on for Basecamp. If you have the app, if you don't, you should get the app. Just so you like know when you see when things are posted, and you have that reminder constantly that like, oh yeah, YPI, Basecamp, I'm gonna check that. So just make sure to do that. Derek, do you want to take over?
I think it's my turn now. So I'll be talking about virtual etiquette. So, actually I've noticed like some people who have like Chromebooks, they're kind of laggy. I don't know if you guys can like receive the video fine, like as long as you can hear us. I think that's the most important thing. We're kind of looking into different platforms, like I'll just say like possibly Discord, but we'll have to test out if that is like better or not. This is just something in the works. But so virtual etiquette, getting back on track. Some things for like the long meetings on Fridays would be, it's just to have like a snack nearby. I've been snacking on apples and I just had a protein bar. And like, don't be on the go. Like if you're gonna join our meeting, kind of obvious, don't be driving, but like also don't be like running outside or something. Like we want you to be like actually paying attention, and if you're like running next to some place, like you're probably not going to give us your full attention. Another thing is possibly use headphones. That's not like a requirement, but like maybe, if like someone's really quiet, you might have headphones on or something.
Yeah. Another
thing is don't use your phone. The original intention was not to use your phone while Zooming, but now that I'm thinking about it, if you are on your phone and then you like get off of Zoom, then we can tell because your camera will turn off. but yeah, but like more generally, like just please don't like be on your phone. Like this is my phone, and I can just like put it like right underneath my camera, and it looks like I'm looking at you guys, but really I'm checking Snapchat right now. like please, I mean, like you can do that. Like I'm gonna be honest, like I've done that before too. Like at OSSM when I was getting like it was like a 4-hour long orientation, I set up a tissue box underneath my camera and propped my phone up against it. And I just watched YouTube while I had that on mute, and it looked like I was looking at the camera. Don't like, I mean, like you can't, please don't do that. Like it'll be so much more, what?
I said, don't give us tips.
Well, I'm just,
Like,
if you
the
have to
thing
do
is-
that, that's a sign you should not be here. You should be liberated. If you feel you have to do any of that stuff, like you feel like you have to keep yourself entertained while you're here, if you have to line up other social media things to keep you busy, if you're going to need to play video games to be on the calls, YPI is not for you. It's a good sign for you.
And
if you have to do those things. All right.
That's the whole purpose of us like building in those breaks, like those 5 or 10, 15-minute breaks. Like, okay, yeah, that's your brain break. Go look at your phone, go check Snapchat, whatever. Like, if that helps you relax, go do that. But that's why we have time set aside for that, so that you can focus when we're meeting and then have breaks to cleanse your mind.
Yeah. Oh, Emily, you unmuted. You got something to say?
Oh, I'm just going to add too that we're all learning. I know I've said this before, but like, you know, even from this meeting, we'll talk in a second about like what moved us toward progress, what hindered progress, but that this is an example of build, measure, learn, right? Like this is an iteration of how to do virtual YPI. And so we've built something. Now we, like the measure part would be you guys as a cohort telling us after the fact what you liked, what we needed, what needed adjusting, how we, you know, how we could do it better. So some of that may be like, hey, we had too many breaks, or hey, you talked for too long on this topic and it was hard to listen. Like open a sticky note on your computer or write it down on a physical sticky note, and let's give feedback so that we can make it better. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I think that's really relevant. Like if you have any like issues, like if it's too boring or something like during this section, it doesn't have to be this section, just be like, this meeting was really boring. And then like, you know, we could like communicate like, oh, okay, maybe activities or something. Like one reason why I was like, you're like, people will be bored on Zoom calls is like, it's not engaging, right? You're not like actively participating, you're just listening. So of course, if I'm just listening, I can also probably be checking Snapchat at the same time. I'll still be receiving the same information. There's really no reason for me to be looking. And so like maybe like one thing that Edie and I have been trying to do is like have more activities built in. So like you're actively participating and making like actively contributing to the meeting as well. And another thing on that topic, so like for games or other activities, like we're kind of looking for like if you guys want to like come up with something on your own or like run a game, like whenever we're just like having like fun time or something, we are totally for it. Like maybe like a game leader or like some sort of team leader on something. You guys can volunteer. I don't know. But yeah, that's and then the last thing on virtual etiquette. Wow, I really went off topic, but that's okay. We're still ahead. We're still ahead of schedule. The last thing is like kind of echoing what Adam said. Is just like be here. Like if you're gonna be on this Zoom call, like give us your attention. Like don't be on your phone, and you could just like turn off your camera if you really don't want to. I mean, like honestly, just like put your phone in like a different room or something and give us your it's like we're gonna do our best and to like keep you guys engaged. And if we're not succeeding, then you should tell us. We won't be hurt, and we'll do everything we can to improve the experience. Everyone's new to this, so everyone's learning as well. Yeah.
Okay, so we can move to Plus Indulges, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, also, side note about the games. When we were on a Zoom call with Adam and Emily, just talking about like any game that you play like in real life, there's a way to like make it virtual. Adam was like, we could play what's it called? Why am I blanking right now?
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs. You could play musical chairs online, like on Zoom or on Miro. just like stupid stuff like that, you know, like think outside the box. But yeah, okay, so plus and deltas. So Emily mentioned it actually, but another like enhancement of words that we already use, just to help us understand like what plus and deltas are, what they really are and what they're for. This will just help us actually get a sense of how you guys felt about today. So when you think of like what the pluses of this meeting were, think about what moved us towards progress. So not like the food was really good, like, okay, great, awesome, love to hear that. But like, what did we do today that you think helped us in our project and that's gonna move us forward? And then for delta, it's what hindered progress. So like, what, was there anything today that like made it hard to focus or made you feel less motivated than you already were? So just keep that in mind when you're thinking of plus and deltas. So, yeah.
I want to show you guys something I'm working on. It's not done yet, but I want to get feedback on it. It's a model for how I think, a visual for how I think the ideal meetings would go, like for your committees or anything. You ready? Because I'm going to ask you to evaluate it because it's, all right. Now, remember, you're on my side too, and this is in prototype. All right. So, can you see?
The art of meetings.
What the art of meetings?
Yeah.
So I'm editing what it says here. So instead of connect and mindfulness check-ins, I want to write it like this: connect with self, mental presence, with team, check-ins. Then this box here, this is all what you do at the beginning of a meeting, and then the main part of the meeting, and then the conclusion part of the meeting. Initiation, discovery, resolve. And we could change the words here, but instead of this, this box would be called purpose. What is our focus and why does it matter? Then once we do that, we do outcomes. Define what meaningful progress looks like, what Edie was just talking about. From there, you set your agenda so that what? So that it reflects, so that the things you talk about would actually produce the progress you want. Well, otherwise, it's not the right agenda. And how many times have you sat in a meeting and it was a waste of time and a waste of time, right? So now once you have the agenda, now you talk through the items. And this is a process of diverge where you brainstorm and then converge to a conclusion. And I'll work on this central section here, but it's like, what would progression behaviors look like, you know? then you need to bring your meeting in for a close, maybe 5 minutes or so before the meeting. And then yes, delta, not deta, but delta and plus delta. What plus that which contributed to progress. And I think that's just a better way to say plus. So we don't have to say, well, the food was good. Well, if it contributed to progress, then the food was good. But if the food being good did not contribute to progress, then that's not a plus. It's just you had good food. It's fine. And to say delta, well, not everybody was here, that hindered progress. Okay, that's actually a good one. So anyway, and then who does what by when, and then you adjourn. And then what's really cool is, let me see if I could do this the cool way. So Control D duplicates it. So now this is meeting 2 that I just made right over here. See, I'm going to show you. I'll write the word 2 in number form. I wrote a word in number form. You try to do it, you know. But it's this gap between the meetings is where you guys could actually make progress. You don't have to sit around. Maybe you do something. You take an action. That's what happens. And then you come together for your next meeting. And now it's the same thing. Let's connect. What's up, my friends, my peeps? How we doing? Let's get our heads straight. Let's engage. And then this is all the old language, but still, And then what you're doing is you're stringing these together, but each one of these is progress, right? Each time you do one of these, okay, I'm going to try to do something cool. I'm going to grab one of these and one of these, and then I'm going to hit Control D again, right? And now you've got a string of progress you're making. You're 4 meetings down the road. You don't want to see all this stuff. This is all my thoughts about writing a revenge letter. Not a revenge letter, just a resignation letter. But anyway, but you see what I'm all about, right? I don't know, something with the word drip in it, because that's a cool thing to say, right?
The word drip.
Right.
Thank you for sharing.
I'm sure. I hope it changed your lives. But yeah, what do you think of that as a meeting model, guys? Because that's what I'm proposing that to a hospital client, a group of executives on Friday, and they're going to love it. So let me ask you, what do you think of it? I kind of manipulated your answer, but yeah. Yeah. So if you just follow it, it's just the roadmap for not wasting your time. It's the roadmap for progress. What did you call it, Edie?
Oh, the art of meetings.
Yeah, that was Victor might get this one, but it was like I got that from the Art of Problem Solving, which is like the sweaty math counts Asian website to get good at math. And then this is like the formula to get good at meetings, I guess.
Sweet. Okay, so yeah, plus and deltas. Please share.
I have a plus.
Okay.
Like reviewing the timeline and like where we left off. Just like talking about that kind of will help us move forward, I think.
Yeah.
I liked learning how to use Miro. I kind of like the visual format, I guess. So I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
I like the games we played at the beginning. I think those were just a big morale booster overall and kind of got us all excited to get the meeting started.
I think the team building and like individual small groups like helped us reconnect because we lost a lot of contact with each other over the summer. So being in like smaller groups and just like working together to get a final product, I think helped us.
I totally agree with Ava. Like, the ability to just us like break into small groups and do something was nice, but also B, I think it was executed pretty well. I was glad to see that the leaders were able to actually like find something that's at least somewhat engaging to do online, like through Zoom as an activity, which was nice. It wasn't just like break up into a small group for 5 minutes and just talk about something. You guys found a way for us to do something in that period, which was nice. So props to them.
Also, once again, thank you, Edie and Derek. We know it's super hard having to do this over online, but you guys did a really good job.
Thanks.
I was gonna say that I really liked how they thought of us and like our entertainment and, made it to where we were gonna have fun instead of just, staring blankly at a screen. And also props to Edie and Derek.
Any other pluses or any deltas? Oh, thanks.
I have one more. Being like ahead of schedule or like just like on schedule is always nice. Like, and I feel like you guys, like Derek and Edie, did a good job of keeping us on track.
Despite my efforts, otherwise.
We built in time for you, Adam.
Yeah.
Consider it.
Julian?
Yeah, I really loved using Miro a lot, especially at the beginning of the meeting. I guess what I was gonna say is kind of a delta. I think how we played like both games at the front of the meeting, like where we did the like 10 things in common and then the alien landing, we maybe could have spread that out and put like the alien landing after the review, because I feel like we did review and then we did have the option to do a break and we all chose to go forward, which I thought was a good idea, but it did end up being a lot of talking back to back. And if we had maybe like split that up and done like alien landing, it may have been a little bit more engaging.
Awesome.
Noted.
That's a great delta.
Yeah, don't be afraid to say deltas. We can take it. It's actually really helpful when you guys say that stuff, because whenever you guys comment about like, yeah, our engagement was kind of low because you're talking a lot, that's like good for us too, because then next time that won't happen.
And then you'll have to talk. Okay, Victor, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to say for the time I was here, I think being like flexible with the schedule, like when we like were able to like make a decision about if like we really wanted to take a break is good, so that we don't have to just like follow some rigid guideline that we might not really want.
Awesome.
Victor, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Any other deltas? Don't be shy.
All right. guess
Anyone?
I'll give you guys like 10 more seconds. Anyone who's, if you're like on the brink of asking a question, I'll give you like 10 seconds to say something.
I have something I want to say while they're thinking. Has anybody heard of something like Signal? If you've heard of something called Critical Role, if you know what I'm talking about when I say Critical Role. All right, Max. What is Critical Role? Do you think? You're muted. Yeah, go.
I mean, this is total like. I think isn't it a D&D thing when you have to save yourself from a tragic situation? And now you've exposed me as a complete nerd in front of everyone.
No. I've raised you as a champion of all that is good and lawful in the land of Azeroth. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no. Critical Role's there's a show now called Critical Role, and I watched it. Talk about relevant when it just had maybe a few hundred viewers. It's got this is about 5 years ago. It's just the people who run it, they're voice actors. For video games, you might have heard their voices and stuff. But you wouldn't know their faces because they're voice actors. But for years, they've been these geeky gamers playing Dungeons and Dragons as friends, and they just made a television show on Twitch TV. And I know Twitch TV is normally for video games and screencasting, but it could be used just as a homegrown television channel. Anyway, who would want to watch these people sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons, right? And right. Did you know what it was, Kylie? Do you watch the show? All right. So my point is that if this actually is better than Critical Role. You guys can have viewers and followers and fans and all of that and be bigger than K-pop stars for doing philanthropy. I mean, just think. This is opportunity land. I just want to say it. All right, back to Derek and your question to the group and your final 10-second thing.
Yeah, any other deltas? No?
Okay, let's move on to the...
I had one last thing. I don't know if this may just be a me thing, but whenever at the beginning we were picking like our little icons and stuff, and Derek was explaining the game, I kind of found it hard to do what I was doing and also listen. So I had to kind of like work with and like learn what we were doing as we were starting it. So maybe just like giving us a second more to do small things like that, but that might also just be a me thing. So. Oh
yeah, no, I totally forgot that you guys are also making icons at the same time. That's my bad. I just like moved on, skipped over it. Okay, yeah, so thank you, Kylie. That was good. I'll pay attention to the agenda next time. Awesome. Edie, you want to start with the closing?
Yeah. So last couple announcements. One of a fun kind of engaging thing we talked about doing was show and tell. So like picking a couple people each like Friday meeting to just like, obviously you're going to be at home. So I know you have something to show, but like picking something to show and tell to the rest of the cohort. Just kind of like fun and silly. So yeah, that's just an idea and we want to hear yours too. And then next meeting date is our first Friday meeting, which is September 4th from 9 to 12. I think I put it in the calendar on Basecamp. If not, I'll do that. But so just put that in your calendar, write it down, keep it in mind.
Also, that is leading into Labor Day weekend, so we're not going to start the Sunday calls until the following. We'll be on Friday, off Sunday, and then just look at the schedule.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys for coming and giving us your attention. We really appreciate it. And we hope that coming to this meeting was worth your time. So
yeah, it was good to see everyone's faces.
Great job, Derek and Edie. You guys were awesome.
Yeah, and everybody's contributions made it a great meeting. It's everybody. It's all that good. Be well. See everybody.
Bye, guys.
See you guys in 2 weeks.